हेलो दोस्तों, नमस्ते, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल। मैं प्रोफेसर दत्तात्रेय गुड़के आप सभी का फिर से एक बार स्वागत करता हूँ आपके चहेते शो में जिसका नाम है रीड विद मी। चलिए कुछ अच्छा सुनते हैं। In today's episode, we are going to read a very special book which is entitled as How to Take Back Control of Your Life, which is written by me, that is Professor D.S. Godke। तो ये जो बुक है इसकी खासियत क्या है कि आपको ज़्यादातर सेल्फ हेल्प कैटेगरी के बुक्स तो मार्केट में मिलेंगे, लेकिन किसी भी बुक के साथ आपको वर्क बुक नहीं मिलेगा। यहाँ पे हम क्या कर रहे हैं कि एक वर्क बुक प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं विद द हेल्प ऑफ विच यू कैन डीपन द लर्निंग्स फ्रॉम दिस बुक। मतलब इस बुक में क्या रहेगा, टोटल 14 चैप्टर्स आर देयर and what you have to do, you have to read one chapter in one day। मीन्स मान लीजिए कि पहले दिन आपने फर्स्ट चैप्टर रीड कर लिया, तो बेस्ड ऑन द चैप्टर नंबर 1 few of the questionnaires will be there, around 3 to 4 questions are there। being true and honest to yourself, you have to write down the answers to those questions in order to take charge of your life। ओके, फिर से वही है कि अगर ये आप ऐसा लेते हो या बाकी जितने भी बुक रीड करते हो उसके साथ उसके जैसे ही अगर आप रीड करोगे तो डेफिनेटली ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा जो लर्निंग है वो आपको इस बुक से नहीं मिलेगा। सो आई थिंक सो यू माइट बी रेडी विद दैट। एंड फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक टू कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट यू ऑल फॉर शोइंग अप फॉर द स्पेशल एपिसोड ऑफ दिस हाउ टू टेक बैक कंट्रोल ऑफ योर लाइफ। ओके, तो चलिए शुरुआत करते हैं। We'll start with the welcome letter. Welcome to your 14-day challenge. Over the course of next 2 weeks, we will learn and grow together through the mastery of one of the most important success principles, E plus R is equal to O. This same principle is used by Lord Rama. Okay, वो भी जैसे जैसे हम बुक में आगे बढ़ते जाएंगे definitely we will come towards that story. How this Lord Rama has used this simple formula in order to become a Maryada Purushotta. Let us get started. Taking control of your life really comes down to this simple equation, but mastering it is harder than it seems. As rightly said by Robin Sharma, one of the world's top leadership experts and humanitarian and author of #1 worldwide bestseller, The 5am Club. All change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and so gorgeous at the end. I need to repeat this. All change is hard at the first, messy in the middle, and so gorgeous at the end. According to Brian Tracy, motivational public speaker and self-development author, everything that you accomplish and fail to accomplish is a product of momentum principle of success, which is very important to you. It is derived from 2 physical laws, the law of momentum and the law of inertia, and it applies equally well to everything that you accomplish and fail to accomplish. In physics, the law of momentum says that a body in motion tends to remain in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. The law of inertia, on the other hand, says that a body at rest tends to remain at rest unless acted upon by an outside force. In their simplest terms, as they apply to you and your life as well with the same impact. Those laws say that if you stay in motion towards something that is important to you, it's much easier to continue making progress than it is if you stop somewhere along the way and have to start again. When you look at successful people, you find that they are very much like the plate spinners in the circus. They get things started, they get the plates spinning, they continually keep them spinning, knowing that if a plate falls off or something comes to a halt, it's much harder to get it restarted than it is to keep it going in the first place. This is why I have created 14-day challenge. Together we will build the foundation to truly step into the driver's seat of our own lives by choosing how we respond in each and every moment. Every day I will provide you with a specific challenge designed to help you put this powerful equation into practice. When you choose your responses intentionally, it's amazing how magical life becomes. As a coach, I have seen people use this equation to heal relationships, ask for what they really want, and ultimately truly change their lives. Think about it. We can't control what happens in our life, but we always have 100% control over how we respond to it. I have seen people who have gone through the most unimaginable of circumstances respond with a grace I didn't even know existed. And I have also seen some of the most privileged people I know lose their minds when some small detail in their life wasn't perfect. You live in a world of growing opportunity at one of the most exciting times in history. And you have been prepared with an exceptionally fine education because you are all so well educated. Let me pose this invocating question to you at the start of this challenge only. What is education for? Is it for the pursuit of knowledge or for the pursuit of significance? How you answer this question makes a difference. Knowledge is merely a tool. There is someone in Argentina or Singapore who has the same degree as you. The difference lies in how you use it. Will you use your education for life or just as a living? It is up to you now. So please be very much sure and conscious while going through this challenge. We always get to choose, which leads me to congratulating you for being here. It all started with a choice to sign up and then show up for this challenge. My hope is that you will find the following pages engaging and that by the end of 14 days you will have built the muscles to intentionally respond to all the events, both positive and negative, in your life. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you. So let's get this party started. Chapter number 1, a little background. E plus R is equal to O, the simple yet powerful formula that will change your life. Jack Canfield, most influential success mentor, given a simple yet powerful formula that will change your life completely. That formula goes as E plus R is equal to O. Event plus response is equal to outcome. Stated succinctly, every outcome we experience in life is a direct result of how we respond to an individual event that occurs. Every outcome that we encounter in our life is a product of your reaction or a response to it. As rightly said by author Stephen Covey, American educator, author, businessman, and keynote speaker and author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I am not a product of my circumstances, I am a product of my decisions. I am not a product of my circumstances, I am a product of my decisions. It simply means at every event which your life throws at you, you are left with the decision to take, and ultimately it will decide the quality of your life. You have no control over what life throws at you, but you have 100% control over how you respond to it. So be wise while taking the decision. You are only one step away from changing the quality of your life. Take that simple decision and use this simple yet powerful formula in every walk of life to change the quality of your life. Event plus response is equal to outcome. Let us take a simple example to understand this simple yet powerful formula. Event: your spouse comes home from a bad day at the work. Response: you don't have time to listen and may even launch into your own tirade saying you think yours was bad. Outcome: you end up with an unhappy spouse who feels disconnected and unheard. Or if you change the response given to same situation, you can have a look at how that outcome is going to change or what that outcome will offer to you. Same event: your spouse comes home from a bad day at the work. Response: you listen and respond lovingly with compassion and interest. Outcome: your relationship becomes closer with a spouse who feels heard and supported. Can you see how your response and your response alone can significantly improve your life? Or alternatively, create negative outcomes either now or in the future. When you really get this concept and understand the power of your response, you can be a success in every area of your life. Your happiness, your health, your financial situation, your relationships, everything will start to improve once you improve your responses. Let us discuss a simple conversation from Ramayana. It is one of the two major Sanskrit epics of ancient India to understand this simple formula. Event plus response is equal to outcome. One day Rama went to meet his father Dashratha as he wanted to see Rama. Rama entered. He saw his father was sitting beside his throne and it looked like he was in an indescribable pain and was not ready to look at him. He asked his stepmother about his situation, as Rama never looked King Dashratha in such a devastating state earlier. And the discussion was started by his stepmother Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi furiously said, "You all are calling him as a king of kings and much more, but actually he is nothing. I have asked for only 2 boons as he had promised me earlier, but right now he is refusing to complete it. So please tell my son how I would believe that he is king of kings." Rama politely says, "This is not possible at all. There is nothing impossible for my father in this whole world. Even gods took help from him to fight against the demons. What is that he is not able to do it? Please tell me that. I will make it for you for sure on behalf of him." Kaikeyi, little bit anxiously, "Are you sure? You will complete those promises, otherwise you will also do as your father did to me." Rama politely says, "You know me well. I will complete those for sure at any cost. So please tell me those." Kaikeyi with satisfaction says, "Please listen to it carefully. Those promises goes as first one, you have to make my son Bharata, Rama's younger brother and Kaikeyi's son, the king of Ayodhya. And second, you have to leave our kingdom Ayodhya for 14 years and you have to go to Vanvas, residence in a forest along with your wife Sita." Rama with complete faith, "That's it, only this much, and the rest is history and we all know it in a better way." Here Rama has also used this simple and powerful technique to change the outcome he got by changing the response to the event. Actually, we all can learn a lot from his life. Looking at his life full of adversities and full of problems, he still managed to come out of all those events with his conscious response to all the events, and ultimately he changed the outcome he received. As rightly said by Charles R. Swindoll, Christian pastor, author, educator and a radio preacher, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. ये मुझे रिपीट करने की जरूरत पड़ेगी क्योंकि दिस इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आवर लाइफ इज 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react to it. Today and over the course of next 13 days, begin to look for the opportunities to respond differently in each area of your life. Our power truly lies in our ability to respond intentionally. Day 1 exercises. In what areas of my life do I find myself reacting versus responding intentionally? You are being true and honest to yourself. You have to write the answer to this question. Then question number 2. How would my life improve by being more intentional in my responses in these areas? Question number 3. How can I use this simple equation to improve each area of my life? You can take out some time and you can write the answers to these 3 questions, being true and honest to yourself, in order to have the maximum learning as far as chapter number 1 is concerned. Let us go ahead with chapter number 2. Old events or new responses. There is no security in our lives, there is only opportunity. Still, many of us are striving for security in their whole lives and end up with nothing. For sure, there is no security, there is only opportunity. If you seek for security, you end up with a missed opportunity. But if you seek opportunity, you end up with a security. Then when and how will I encounter the opportunity? For that, we have to change ourselves a little bit. First and foremost, stop blaming others for everything which happens with you all the time. If you come late to work and your superior asks about it, your answer is obvious due to traffic. Here you are trying to be innocent, but actually you are not any more innocent. But this behavior makes you a victim. As you start blaming someone else for what is happening with you, you will miss the opportunity to respond to the situation. If you cannot change the situation or that event, then you are innocent for sure. But here, if you have started earlier, then you might not encounter this problem. This is once again a simple application of E plus R is equal to O, or event plus response is equal to outcome. In every situation which we encounter, we are left with three options. First, be a victim. Second, be a player. And third, be a hero. Players choose their responses wisely. However, a victim does not have the privilege. A victim never considers himself or herself as a part of the problem, so he or she will never be the part of solution. So be wise while responding to the various events which you came across. Please change your response to that event and get an altogether different outcome. As rightly said by Viktor Frankl, Austrian neurologist and psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, the ultimate freedom of him or her does not depend upon where he or she is, but it depends upon where he or she puts himself or herself. I need to repeat this. The ultimate freedom of him or her does not depend upon where he or she is, but it depends upon where he or she puts himself or herself. Are you ready to take control of an outcome right now? I'm willing to bet most of us are holding on to something recent that didn't go the way you wanted it to. Think about something that happened in the past week that didn't go the way you wanted. Try to think of something that you are still feeling right now. Instead of being a victim of that event, be a player and consider yourself as a part of the problem, and just think over to change the outcome by changing your response to it. Maybe you were late to work and felt guilty or worried. Maybe you got into an argument with someone and wish you could take back something you said. Perhaps you went over your budget and you are worried about upcoming bills. Are you beating yourself up over something you ate or a task you didn't complete? Here is an example from a past student. I had so much on my task list for the week and I spent the entire day procrastinating. I did small tasks like sweeping the floors, organizing the closet, and eventually ended up on Netflix. I did everything except what I set out to do, and I am so mad at myself right now. This is a situation I am willing to bet many of us can relate with. So let's break this down using event plus response is equal to outcome. Event: he had a task list to complete. Response: he procrastinated. Outcome: he was mad at himself. But there is another E plus R is equal to O happening here, one that you could control right now to change your entire outcome. Event: he did not complete your task list. Response: he was angry with himself. Outcome: he was creating stress and punishing himself over something he can no longer change. Now he can't go back in time and change the fact that he procrastinated and didn't complete his task list, but he does have control over how he feels about it. Being upset and and punishing himself is not going to serve him. And let's be real, who wants to feel bad? Probably none of us. But how often do we allow ourselves to feel bad about a situation we can no longer change? This student can still control his outcome by changing his responses. So, how did this student change his response? Event: he did not complete his task list. New response: he forgave himself and made a promise to avoid Netflix until his task list was completed. New outcome: he has less stress and more mental clarity to focus on what needs to be completed instead of what wasn't completed. Notice the event did not change. He didn't go back in time and complete his task list. The only thing that changed was his response alone to what happened, but that new response completed an entirely new outcome, radically different than what he was experiencing before. Day 2 exercises. Are you ready to change an outcome? Are you ready to change an outcome you are experiencing right now? I hope that the example helped, because now it's your turn. Did you think of something that happened recently that didn't go the way you wanted? Think about something that happened that is still affecting you right now and fill out the prompts below. Here you have to write the old event from last week. Then you have to write down the old response. Then you have to write down the old outcome. Now same event, same old event you have to take. You have to replace the old outcome with a new response, and you have to check which new outcome are you going to get. Let us get ahead with the chapter number 3. Old routines. Almost 95% of the activities we do or don't do is a result of habit. So habit formation is the most important stage to respond effectively to events we encounter. How to form a simple habit? Let us say you want to wake up early in the morning and go for exercise to be more fit and healthy. First few days we start with it and do well also, but soon we will miss the fun part of it. As rightly said by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, ex-president of India and aerospace scientist. You cannot change the future, but you can change habits, and surely your habits will change the future. You cannot change the future, but you can change the habits, and surely your habits will change your future. Science says it takes 66 days to turn a habit automatic. But as you didn't have that much time, I have come up with a simple yet powerful technique. I may sound crazy, but I tried this with myself, my brother, along with a few of my students, clients, and it really worked well. Which is, if you won't wake up at a decided time and start making excuses or not doing exercise, please take out a note of $100. यहाँ पे आप $100 भी ले सकते हैं, 100 rupees भी ले सकते हैं, and tear it up. Soon you will realize that you won't make excuses and you will form a good habit with only $100 investment. You can choose a less or more than $100 as well, but my suggestion is to take that amount as high as possible to turn the habit automatic. This works on the principle given by great economist Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Memorable Prize in Economics. Changes that make things worse or loses loom larger than improvements or gains. Think about what comes up on an average day. You start out the morning with good intentions, then suddenly for some reason, it doesn't matter why, you are late getting out the door for work. After work and after several more unintentional responses, you walk through the door and barely acknowledge your spouse or teenagers. Collapsing in front of TV after dinner, you stay up late watching shows you could care less about and which aren't even entertaining. You roll into bed following the nightly news at 11:30 p.m. only to toss and turn over the latest political outrage, then wake up sleepy the next morning. What exactly is happening here? Could this entire day have been different? It's important to distinguish between a reaction and a response. On the surface, a reaction and a response may look exactly like, but the outcomes they create are very different. A reaction is instant. It is based on the moment without taking into consideration the potential outcome you might create, and is often a survival or a defense mechanism. Our ability to react protects us when we have to make a split decision that might be the difference between life and death, where the immediate consequence overweighs any long-term impact of our actions. A response is a choice based on information from both the conscious and unconscious mind that weighs the possible long-term outcomes. A response takes into consideration not only your well-being but also other people that might be affected by your response and allows you to stay in line with your values. Let us take a look at the difference in action. Imagine you are walking down the sidewalk wearing a nice white shirt or dress of your choice, and someone bumps into you and spills coffee all over you. A reaction might be, "You idiot, watch where you are going." What outcomes does that create? You are angry. The person who spilled their coffee may be provoked to anger. A potential client or colleague could witness your reaction and think poorly of you. Your entire day could be ruined by this one interaction if you allowed it. A response might be, you take a deep breath and realize that the coffee wasn't hot enough to burn you. It didn't soak your cell phone or anything important, and you know absolutely nothing about this person or what type of day they had leading up to this encounter. They could be rushing to the hospital to say goodbye to a loved one. They could be on the way to a big job interview and have to show up with a coffee all over them. So you pause a moment and respond, "Are you okay?" What outcomes does that create? Instead of being angry, you are grateful it wasn't worse. Your compassionate response may lead to a new friendship or connection. A potential client or colleague could witness your response and think like more highly of you. Your shirt may be ruined, but your day isn't. Guess what? Whether we choose to react or respond in this situation, we still have coffee on our shirt. The only thing we can change in this situation is our response. The coffee is staying on our shirt no matter what, but the outcome is entirely in our hands. E plus R is equal to O, and controlling our responses is a tool we have to practice in order to master it. Just understanding how this formula works does not mean we will immediately implement it into every area of our life. To help you begin responding differently to life's events as you go through your day, complete the exercise below to create a more deliberate, purposeful, and stress-free day that gets you closer to your major life goals. Day 3 exercises: responding differently the evening before. To prevent feeling rushed tomorrow and to anticipate events such as weather or traffic, make a list of what you can prepare tonight. I have listed some ideas to get you started. Fill in the remaining blanks with your own plans. Set out the next day's clothes, including shoes and accessories. Pack your laptop before bed. Ask the kids to pack their backpacks by 9 p.m. and put it in a dedicated place every night. Next, cut up fruits, chop ingredients for omelets, and otherwise prep for a healthy breakfast. Next, make a healthy salad to take for lunch the next day. Next, start the ingredients for a slow cooker or instant pot dinner, placing them in the refrigerator for the next morning. Set a permanent reminder on your smartphone alarm to prompt you to be in bed by 10 p.m. Responding differently in the morning. To create a stress-free day tomorrow, decide what you will commit to do each morning to stay focused and happy. Here are some ideas. Wake up naturally without exercise. Replace your coffee with herb tea. Spend 20 minutes doing a meditation or guided visualization and review your life goals. Having a rock solid routine for your morning and evening is one of the best ways we can use E plus R is equal to O proactively. Before events happen, also called priming, and it's a powerful way to intentionally start your day going in the right direction. I have heard countless people tell me what a difference creating a routine plays in their day-to-day life, and I have felt the difference for myself. Let us get ahead with chapter number 4, responding differently at home and at work. According to Brian Dyson, former CEO of Coca-Cola, imagine life as a game in which you are juggling some 5 balls in the air. You name them: first work, second family, third health, fourth friends, and fifth spirit. And you are keeping all of these in the air. You will soon understand that work is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. But the other 4 balls, family, health, friends, spirit, are made up of glass. If you drop one of these, they will be irrevocably scuffed, marked, nicked, damaged, or even shattered. They will never be the same. You must understand that and strive for balance in your life. Our life is all about balance, and at every moment we have to prioritize ourselves. The better the way you respond to the events and prioritize them, better the life experience you will get. Right now our situation is like this. We have the best airplane in the world, and above that best pilot also. But if you don't know the path, and at every moment if you change the direction in which we are moving, then the probability of reaching your destination is very remote. To manifest whatever you wish to happen in this physical world, you have to take charge of 4 fundamental dimensions of our life, which are: first, mind; second, body; third, emotion; and fourth, fundamental life energies. If you will take charge of these 4 and keep these 4 things organized in one direction and keep it unwavering for a certain amount of time, then whatever you think will get manifested in this physical world. Once you organize your mind and the way you think and the way you feel, that your emotions will get organized. Once your emotions are organized, your thoughts will get organized. Once your thoughts are organized, your fundamental life energies will get organized. Once your mind, emotion, and fundamental life energies get organized, your body will get organized. And once all these get organized, your ability to create something is phenomenal. Start your day committed to create what you really want. Failures are bound to happen, but for a committed man, there is nothing called as a failure. 100 times fall down, 100 lessons to be learned. This paragraph is most important. I need to repeat this. If you will take charge of these 4 and keep these 4 things organized in one direction and keep it unwavering for a certain amount of time, then whatever you think will get manifested in this physical world. Once you organize your mind, the way you think and the way you feel, that your emotions will get organized. Once your emotions are organized, your thoughts will get organized. Once your thoughts are organized, your fundamental life energies will get organized. Once your mind, emotion, and fundamental life energies get organized, your body will get organized. And once all these get organized, your ability to create something is phenomenal. Start your day committed to create what you really want. Failures are bound to happen, but for a committed man, there is nothing called as failure. 100 times fall down, 100 lessons to be learned. So be clear with what you really want in this world for you as well as for the people around you. Once you take charge of these 4 fundamental dimensions, you will become a Kalparuksha, also known as Kalpataru, Kalpadruma, and Kalpapadapa, is a wish-fulfilling divine tree in Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism. At home, yesterday you created routine that empowered you to take control and respond even before the event of the day begin. This is a huge piece of E plus R is equal to O, because you are proactively preparing for the known stressors of the day before they happen. But what about the unexpected? What happens when your spouse comes home 2 hours late without a phone call, or your child decides they also want to take control of their life, and you definitely don't have the same idea as they do of what's in their best interest? What happens when the dishwasher breaks, or you discover that you forgot to put an important event on your calendar? Today is all about responding differently at home. We all have a different home life experience, but there are always stressors that come up in this area. It may be finances, family relationships, unexpected events, whatever the case may be, whatever events might come our way, our ability to respond is crucial to our success. At work, imagine you hadn't just learned about the power of creating a solid morning routine a few days ago. You are heading out the door when you fumble your copy and now you need to change. You already have so much on your plate and you begin to feel overwhelmed. On top of this annoyance, you soon hit brake lights on the freeway and you know you are going to be late. This immediately puts you in a stressful mood as you rush to the office and awkwardly walk into an impromptu staff meeting. Back in your own office at last, you immediately open your email and find dozens of messages from colleagues all clamoring for you to deliver, delegate, or decide. You spend the next 2 hours meeting other people's priorities, eyeing that stack of paperwork on your own desk that's still left over from yesterday afternoon. By 11 am, you are simply overwhelmed. You know you have got a major deadline at the end of next week, but instead of starting the project and gathering the data you need, you dazedly tackle mundane tasks that are of lower importance, even congratulating yourself as you cross each one off your list. You break for lunch, but instead of eating a healthy salad you brought from home, you treat yourself to a delicious hot lunch at a popular restaurant across the town to make up for the miserable morning you just had. You would like to linger over dessert, but your to-do list beckons, so you drag yourself back to the office to complete your day. Unexpectedly, your boss pops her head into your office. She is leaving for a client meeting at 2 p.m. but didn't finish her report for the steering committee, asking you to drop everything and finish it for her because the committee meets the next morning and she left for her afternoon appointments. Cheerlessly, you stop all your own work to handle something that shouldn't have been done a week ago by someone else. At 5:30 p.m., you finally drop the printed copies of the report on your boss' desk. By now, you are exhausted and haven't even thought of what to do for dinner. Like many other nights, you get taken out from a local restaurant, which strains your household's budget and impacts your family's health. Day 4 exercises. Being true and honest to yourself, you have to write down the answers to these questions in order to deepen the learnings as far as episode number 4 or chapter number 4 is concerned. What is one of your biggest struggles or stressors in your home life? How could you respond differently in this area? And third question, what will you commit to do today to create better outcomes at tomorrow? Fourth question, what is one of your biggest struggles or stressors in your work life? Next question, how could you respond differently in this area? Next question, what will you commit to do today to create better outcomes at work? That's it as far as chapter number 4 is concerned. Let us get ahead with chapter number 5. Take 5% more responsibility. Responsibility is responsibility, literally means ability of an individual to respond to life events. And this will change one's life for sure. Either it can make or break your life. As discussed earlier at day 2, in every situation or event, we are left with 3 options. First, be victim and blame others for what is happening with you. Second, be a player and take responsibility for what has come your way. Third, be a hero and stand for what is best for you and people around you. Instead of giving a response to the event, if you start reacting to everything happening with you, you will end up blaming the whole world. And as we start blaming, we will miss the opportunity to respond to the event. And if we miss the response ability, we will never be a player and a hero. For all our life, we will be the sufferer. I have seen many people, if they meet the adversities in their life, they choose to either avoid it or run away from it or face it. Who is the victim who either avoids or runs away never considers himself or herself part of the problem. So they never will be the part of solution too. On the other hand, those who take responsibility, you will consider yourself as a part of a problem and start seeking for the solution and become part of the solution too. In our cinemas as well, why we are calling someone as a hero? Because he or she took the responsibility for what's happening with him or her and stood for something which is meaningful to the people around him or her. In every situation or event, you are left with three choices. The quality of your life totally depends upon your response alone. What would your life look like if you decide right here, right now, you would take 5% more responsibility in each and every area of your life? Not 50%, not 80%, just 5%. One of the ways we respond in life is by either showing up a little bit better each day or not. It's always a choice, but most of us make it overwhelming in our minds by thinking we have to run the marathon before we can even run a mile. Today is all about taking that first small step. It's about getting up off the couch and making it around the block. It may be a mile, and it sure as a heck isn't marathon, but we have all heard the saying, you have to crawl before you can walk. You have to crawl before you can walk. As rightly said by Martin Luther King Jr., African American minister and activist, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. I need to repeat this. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. So what does crawling look like in your life? What can you do to take just 5% more responsibility as a wife or a husband, as a business owner, as a parent, as an employee? What can you do to be 5% more healthy or more productive? Imagine this principle multiplied. If you took just 5% more responsibility in one of the areas of your life every week for only 20 weeks, then you would be living 100% more intentionally. Think about what is taking just 5% more responsibility really means to you. I will give you a simple example. If I have to take 5% more responsibility for my health and well-being, I would exercise 30 minutes a day. I would drink one less soda per day. I would get 30 extra minutes of sleep per night, and I would meditate at least once per week. Are you ready to take just 5% more responsibility for an area of your life? Feel free to pick as many areas as you want. You can do more than one for sure. Pick an area of your life you want to take 5% more responsibility for. Health and well-being, goals, relationships, financial problems, fun and recreation, and finally career. That's it as chapter number 5 is concerned. Let us get ahead with the day 5 exercises. What does taking 5% more responsibility look like for me? Being true and honest to yourself, you have to write down the answer of this question. Let us take an example. If I were to take 5% more responsibility for my relationship, I could call my husband every night when I am traveling. Complete the following. Today I will take 5% more responsibility for my dash dash by doing dash dash. Fill in the blanks. Bonus. Ask this question for at least 3 areas or categories of your life. Now get out there and start taking action. That's it. As far as chapter number 5 is concerned and exercises of chapter number 5 are concerned. Let us get ahead with chapter number 6, responding to opportunity. We all have equal opportunity to be better than yesterday. It is up to you only. If you take the responsibility, then you will get the opportunity to build your life. Only you have to catch the opportunities by taking responsibility, and you have to conquer them. As rightly said by Winston Churchill, former Prime Minister of UK, the pessimist sees difficulty in every situation and the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. I need to repeat this. This is very, very important. Please listen it carefully. The pessimist sees a difficulty in every situation and the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. Let us take responsibility for this world to change and commit yourself for that. I will give you the opportunity, only you have to catch it and conquer it. In our total lifespan of almost 73 years, we met almost 10,000 people on an average. Let us take responsibility to change the life of only 10 out of 10,000 people and commit yourself to it. I assure you, if only 8,000 people start doing and appeal to the next 8,000 and so on to do so, then in coming only 5 generations, in 125 years, we will change the whole world we live in today for sure. You fall 100 times for sure, but for a committed man, there is nothing called as failure. He or she will fall 100 times, 100 lessons to be learned and keeps moving. As rightly said by Martin Luther King Jr., African American minister and activist, let's not wait for the change, let's be the change. Let's not wait for the change, let's be the change. Knowing that how you respond can mean the difference between an awesome life or regret about what could have been creates a powerful incentive to master your responses. In fact, one of the greatest differences between successful people and those who would merely like to be is how they respond to the opportunities in their life. How often have you reacted with fear or I can't when opportunity knocks? Have you walked away from a life-changing opportunity, or worse, did you fail to recognize and respond to opportunities that actually appeared as a crisis or other disaster? Take a look. Event: your co-worker continually misses deadlines, forcing you to work late to bring projects in on time. Response: you grumble to yourself and others but say nothing to your co-worker or boss. Outcome: you end up working late nights, putting a strain on your relationships at home and becoming more and more resentful. Or, if you could change the response given to this event, you can get a new outcome. Let us have a look at that. Event: your co-worker continually misses deadlines, forcing you to work late to bring projects in on time. Response: you investigate ways to streamline the process, then quietly present your better plan to the team. Outcome: your boss creates a special job title for you, giving you a more oversight on projects, which leads to a year-end bonus and an increase in salary. The truth is, when confronted with a negative event, if you can stop and think before you react, you will almost always find a way to transform that negative event into an opportunity. By simply responding with intention to create the outcome you desire, you become more and more proficient at creating the future you want. That's it as far as chapter number 6 is concerned. Let us go ahead with the day 6 exercises. Are there any events in the past month that I could have framed as opportunities? Being true and honest to yourself, you have to write the answers to these questions. Next question. What are some of the habitual thoughts or stories I have developed that hold me back from the opportunities that may present themselves? Next question, what is my new response when opportunity knocks? Okay, let us get ahead with the chapter number 7. External versus internal responses. Welcome to day 7. Congratulations. How do you feel after an entire week of implementing event plus response is equal to outcome and taking 100% responsibility for your outcomes? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being totally happy, how do you feel right now? Seriously, close your eyes for a moment and think about how happy you feel right now on a scale of 1 to 10. Please close your eyes for a moment and think about how happy you feel right now on a scale of 1 to 10. How would you feel if I told you that if you didn't answer 10, you failed and the rest you were a total idiot? Don't worry, you didn't fail and you definitely aren't an idiot. But how did that make you feel? How did that make you feel when you first read it? Did you feel angry, hurt, or confused? Like I clearly had no idea who you are. This is actually a trick question because I didn't make you feel anything. I didn't ask how you felt. I asked how I made you feel. I can't make you feel anything. It doesn't matter what I say to you, but you already know that E plus R is equal to O. It is your response to what I said that determines how you feel about it. Today we are going to learn about an aspect of E plus R is equal to O that will give you the ability to create a total emotional freedom in your lives. You know I love examples, so let us take a look at how this can be applied in everyday life. Imagine two co-workers named Shreya and Shweta. Shreya walked up to Shweta and says, Shweta, of all the people we work with, you are the biggest idiot in the entire company. Would Shreya lower or raise Shweta's self-esteem with this statement? Or would it not matter what Shreya says to Shweta, but rather what Shweta says to Shweta after Shreya stops talking? It's important to understand that it's not what Shreya says to Shweta, but what Shweta tells to Shweta when Shreya stops talking. If Shweta thinks, wow, how did Shreya know I am such an idiot? This will affect their self-esteem in a negative way. If Shweta thinks Shreya must have said that to push me because she knows I can handle it, this will affect her self-esteem in a positive way. How often do we give away our ability to respond and control over our outcomes to other people? How you notice that the people we wouldn't want to be in control of our outcomes are the ones we most often give that control to. What people say to you is simply another event, and what it means and how it makes you feel is just another outcome you have the power to control. No one can make you feel anything. You have the ability to control how you feel about any situation. Let us take this concept one step further with the quick example. Imagine Shreya has a blonde hair. If Shweta told Shreya, you have green hair, how do you think Shreya could respond? Even if Shreya knew nothing about E plus R is equal to O, do you think that would make her feel bad? Probably not. But why is that? It is because Shreya knows she doesn't have green hair. It isn't what Shweta says that affects Shreya's feelings. It's what Shreya believes to be true about Shreya that affects her feelings. When someone says something to us that causes us to feel hurt, it's usually because at some level we have the doubt about ourselves in that area that existed before anyone said anything. Let us have a look at it. You are not what you think of yourself. You are not what others think about you. You are what you think what others think about you. I need to repeat this. You are not what you think of yourself. You are not what others think about you. You are what you think what others think about you. That says, as far as chapter number 7 is concerned, let's get ahead with day 7 exercises. Being true and honest to yourself, you have to give the answers to following questions in order to deepen the learning. What is a story you consistently tell yourself that doesn't serve you? What story could you start telling yourself to create a different outcome? Today, notice the events that occur and the stories you create around them. Are those stories true, or is it just a story we are telling ourselves? Notice where you can create better stories to create better outcomes. Let us get ahead with chapter number 8. Blaming and complaining. Do you blame events for your outcome? Of course, responding differently means you must give up blaming the events itself. This is very difficult. Our typical response when something doesn't work is that we blame what happened rather than our reaction to it. For example, the traffic that made you late for an important meeting, the bounced check that made your spouse mad, the error on your tax return that triggered a costly penalty. Does this sound familiar? If only my boss would give me enough time to do the job, if only my husband understood what I am trying to do with the kids, if only the kids would clean up their rooms, if only we had more money, if only they would stop such and such, I would feel better. Stop blaming and complaining. Understand that these events in your lives aren't responsible for the outcomes you experience. Only your hours, that is responses, determine the outcomes you get. Complaining simply means you know there is something better. Complaining about events won't help you change your outcomes either. In fact, when you complain, what you are really saying is, I know things could be better, but I am not willing to risk creating that other, more desirable outcome. As we start complaining, we miss the opportunity to respond to the situation, and we will not consider ourselves as a part of the problem. So ultimately miss the opportunity to be a part of the solution too. It is simply easier and less risky to explain. It is simply easier and less risky to complain, and it's certainly easier than responding the way successful people do. If successful people don't like the situation they find themselves in, they either work to make it better or they leave and go somewhere else. The truth isn't as fast-paced as our lives are today. Things are likely to change anyway. Left alone, bad situations often get worse. But you can do something to change them if you are willing to take 100% responsibility for your responses. It is up to you to do something different. Changing your hours, that is responses, will change your life and give you a fresh perspective to a meaningful life every time. Day 8 exercises. Catch yourself blaming and complaining. If you were completely honest with yourself and had to make a list of what you complain about, you would probably notice some common denominators, things that are under your control that you can fix or eliminate altogether that are repeatedly causing events in your life. It might even strike you how long you have been complaining about these events. For the next 24 hours, let's work to create a new habit. Take action versus complaining. Be alert to situations where you blame or complain. What more desirable outcome do you prefer? Write down at least 3 times throughout the day that you notice yourself blaming or complaining and what your new response was. Being true and honest to yourself, you have to write the answer to this question. Let us get ahead with chapter number 9. Difficult relationships. As we all are human beings and love to receive the affection from the people around you. If you are angry easily, you can show that emotion to all those who are around you. But unfortunately, it is a little difficult to show you love them. You are also not paying much attention towards showing the love as expressively as you show the anger. Here the actual problem starts. Everyone wants to be loved and pampered by the people around them, but when their turn comes, they don't show their love too expressively. Everyone is a silent lover, but we need to show our love as and when we will get a chance to show it. Just have a look at your pet animals. They treat you almost the same way every day. If you went angrily in the morning and you come back in the evening, they treat you the same way. Actually, we need to learn this from them. Actually, many of our problems arise due to the miscommunication, or rather no communication. Nowadays, due to the internet, the whole world comes closer. Still, we are not as happy as we were earlier because we are finding virtual relationships and virtual happiness, and unfortunately, all these are eternal. We all have many friends on Facebook, even in thousands, and once we are in a bad situation, nobody comes up and helps us. So be wise and careful while using them. I'm not saying that social networking is bad, but too much of it is bad. Actually, too much of anything is bad. According to a survey, we check our smartphones 117 times a day just to clear notifications received. Let us calculate how much time we invest on our mobile phones. 117 times a day multiplied by 2 minutes each time, it is equal to 234 minutes. We spend every day just this much time we spend every day just to clear the notifications. It means every day for almost 4 hours we are spending to clear the notifications. So be a smart one and stop excessive use of mobile phones. Day after day our mobile phones are becoming smart, but unfortunately we are not that smart to use them effectively. In a healthy relationship, what is required? You have to understand his or her perspective and opinion and show some respect, that's it. You have to accept them the way in which they are. Nobody is perfect. I am also with some flaws as like you. Don't worry, we all are humans and we have to be like that only. Don't be just a criticizer all the time. Along with criticism, show them the ways to improve. It is very easy to criticize anybody. Also, it is very easy to defeat somebody, but it is very hard to win somebody. I need to repeat this. It is very easy to criticize anybody. Also, it is very easy to defeat somebody, but it is very hard to win somebody. Nobody dear to you wants to hurt you intentionally. First of all listen to them clearly. If you have to criticize, please don't do it publicly, do it personally. I assure that it will work for sure. Show you love them publicly as and when you will get the chance. It only takes a minute to tell a loved ones you adore them, so don't be reluctant to show it. There are simple things to do to make your relationship stronger and healthier. From today, just practice following things from today. First one, be the last one to speak in any conversation with your loved ones. As human beings, we want to get heard from someone dear to them. Most of the time, only this will be the solution to their problem. Second, every morning before touching your phone, please greet your loved ones. That shows your love towards them, and please do it every day. Definitely, it will help you to make strong relationships. Third, if you want to drink water or something in the kitchen, take her drink without even asking. It shows how you care for them. Fourth, if possible, please write a thank you note showing your love in a different way. Fifth, if someone commits something wrong, please don't judge them based on that particular instant. Leave that one thing and try to look at positive side of them. Definitely, it will show the way he made you feel apart from that particular instant. I need to repeat these 5 things. There are simple things to do to make your relationship stronger and healthier. From today, just practice following things. First, be the last one to speak in any conversation with your loved ones. As human beings, we want to get heard from someone dear to them. Most of the time, only this will be the solution to their problem. Second one, every morning before touching your phone, please greet your loved ones. That shows your love towards them, and please do it every day. Definitely it will help you to make strong relationships. Third one, if you went to drink water or something in the kitchen, take her drink without even asking. It shows how you care for them. Fourth one, if possible, please write a thank you note showing your love in a different way. And fifth one, if someone commits something wrong, please don't judge them based on that particular instant. Leave that one thing and try to look at the positive side of them. Definitely it will show the way he made you feel apart from that particular instant. These little things will have a great impact on your relationships. After doing numerous training sessions, talking to few of the great achievers, reading success stories, and talking to social workers about how they have made a great impact on the society by showing their love alone, I have learned that people forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. I need to repeat this. People forget what you said, people will also forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. If you sit with yourself for some every day, you will come up with something different to show your love to them. So please spend more and more time with yourself and your family. As rightly said by Swami Vivekananda, an Indian Hindu monk, talk to yourself once a day, otherwise you may miss a meeting with an excellent person in the world. Talk to yourself once a day, otherwise you may miss a meeting with an excellent person in the world. Most of us have a few relationships in our lives that tend to be more difficult than others. Some are with family members we feel forced to interact with. Some are the outcomes of poor responses over long periods of time, and still others seems to be for an apparent reason at all. It's important to remember these relationships are always happening for us. These people, more than anything or anyone else, can often be our greatest test for intentionally choosing our responses. It's easy to respond with love when someone tells you how much they love and appreciate you, but it's much harder to respond lovingly when our child tells you they hate you, or your boss continually overlooks all your hard work. It is how we respond in these moments, though, that can really shape our lives. When taking 100% responsibility for your relationships, be aware that you cannot force people to change. The only real thing you have control over is your expectations, how you allow people to treat you, your responses to their behaviors, and your boundaries. Today can be difficult, especially if we have toxic relationships in our lives we have been unwilling to deal with. Some people are unwilling to change or respect our boundaries, and we may be unwilling to compromise on our expectations or how we allow them to treat us. Take a few moments and think about the quality of your relationships and this area of your life in general. Are there specific relationships you want different outcomes in? Do you want different outcomes from your relationships in general? Is there an area of your relationships you would like to improve? This could be your romantic relationships, business network, friendships, relationships with parents, siblings, or children. Here are few examples. Even your mom always calls at the most unwelcome times. Whenever she calls, she needs something, and the conversation always turns combative and takes forever. Response: you cut her off, telling her that you are too busy for this, and hang up the phone frustrated and annoyed. Outcome: you and your mom drift further apart over the years. As she ages, she feels guilty for never having time, and your mom feels sad that she isn't closer with you. If you change the response to the same event, what new outcome you might receive? Let us have a look at it. Event: your mom calls you and you are busy. She needs to talk to you about her latest problem, and you know you will end up annoyed because the call will take forever. Response: you tell your mom how happy you are she called you to help. Response: you tell your mom how happy you are she called you to help you through this problem, and that you would love to call her back later in the evening when you have time to give her your full attention. Outcome: you feel grateful that your mom respects your opinions and seek your advice, and you and your mom continue to become closer and more connected. Here is another example. Event: every day you show up to work and do more than what's expected from you. You are always the first one to the office and the last one to leave, but your boss never acknowledges you for your dedication to the company. Response: over time you silently become resentful for the lack of acknowledgement you receive. Outcome: eventually you snap, quit your job, and left looking for a new place to work. Or every day you show up to work and do more than what's expected of you. You are always the first one to the office and the last one to leave, but your boss never acknowledges you for your dedication to the company. Response: you ask to meet with your boss and let him know how much you appreciate working for the company and give the acknowledgement you would like to receive. You also express how much you would love to grow within the company and ask what else he would like to see from you to eventually move up the ladder. Outcome: you are now on his radar as someone who he sees as a go-getter, and you have specific tasks you know your boss wants you to accomplish. So you focus your energy in those areas. As you do, your boss naturally gives you feedback because he knows you are looking to progress in the company. Day 9 exercises. Think of your most challenging relationships in the past. How have you responded when conflicts arises with this person? Are there long-term outcomes you can take responsibility for by noticing patterns in the way you have responded in this relationship? By being true and honest to yourself, you have to write down the answers to these questions. Next question: how could you choose to respond differently in the future? Next question: in what ways could you be grateful for this person? Next question: is there something you could do today to help nurture this difficult relationship? If so, what is it? If you weren't able to think of anything, remember we can always spend time spending loving thoughts to another person. If you weren't able to think of anything, remember we can always spend time spending loving thoughts to another person, even they don't physically know it. At a higher level, just this intention can have an amazing and immediate impact on your relationships. Let us get ahead with chapter number 10. Chapter number 10: difficult situations. Just like difficult relationships, we all deal with difficult situations at some level. Sometimes it is losing someone we love, sometimes it is our children choosing a different path than the one we wanted for them. Sometimes it is being laid off from a job because the company is not doing well, or the current pandemic situation due to COVID-19 in the world. Whatever the case may be, our response is truly the only thing within our control during these times. How we respond to a crisis can truly be a make or break moment. Have you ever known someone who went through an unimaginable situation but responded so gracefully that you were blown away? Chances are they were practicing the A plus R is equal to equation without even knowing it. Even though they were faced with a terrible event, they knew what they wanted their outcome to be, so they responded in a way that supported the O's they desired. Here is an example. One of us can probably relate to from a past student who gave us permission to share. What is a difficult or troubling situation in your life? A friend owes me money and they still haven't paid me. What payoffs or benefits do you get for keeping it like it is? I avoid an uncomfortable conversation and don't have to face the reality that they may not pay me back. What cost do you pay for keeping it like it is? The cost is literally money, but my friend is also avoiding me, so it is costing me my friendship. How do you create it or allow it to be like it is? I loaned them money that I wasn't sure they could pay back. I put expectations on my friend they may not be able to meet. I have not been straightforward in asking them to repay me. What do you want instead? I want to enjoy talking to and spending time with my friends without the stress of them owing me money, and I would also like to be repaid. What actions could you take and what requests could you make to get it? I could talk to my friend and ask about their financial situation. If they are unable to repay me, I can let them know that their friendship is more important than the money and that they should consider the money as a gift instead of a loan. This student was able to save their relationship with their friend by communicating what was really important. They realized that their friendship was more important than the money, and one of two things had to change if they wanted to maintain that friendship. Either their friend had to change or their expectations of their friend had to change. Knowing everything you know about taking 100% responsibility and E plus R is equal to O formula, what do you think was more likely to change? What was the only variable in this situation the student had to control over? Their expectations of their friend. Can you relate to this story at all? How your expectations of another person become more important than maintaining your relationship with them. This is not always a bad thing either. We have to be aware of where our boundaries are and respect ourselves even to maintain them. There would have been nothing wrong with this student saying being repaid was more important than the relationship. It is important to be aware of the outcome you wish to create, and rather or not the outcome you are creating is in alignment with the outcome you desire. Think about your difficult or troubling situation. Are you creating the outcome you ultimately desire, or are you allowing reactions to create an outcome for you? How confident are you that you will resolve your situation and create the outcome you really want? That's it as far as chapter number 10 is concerned. Let us get ahead with the day 10 exercises. Being true and honest to yourself, you have to answer the following questions. What difficult situations have I responded to in a way that doesn't serve me? If I could go back to those scenarios, how could I have responded differently to create a more desirable outcome? What is a difficult situation I am currently dealing with? Next, knowing what I now know, how will I respond to this situation? As you repeat this exercise with other difficult or troubling situations, you may notice a pattern in the ways you create or allow them to happen. Taking 100% responsibility for those patterns will empower us to start creating the outcomes we desired automatically. I encourage everyone to run through the exercise a few more times before the challenge is over. And if you struggled doing this exercise or you worked alone, be sure to ask for help in the comments below and try to connect with someone else who needs help. Working through the exercise together can take it to a much deeper level. Let us get ahead with chapter number 11. Tackling incompleteness. There is nothing more frustrating and draining than having unfinished projects. Incompleteness keeps us from moving forward and kill productivity. Today is all about responding to these incompletes rather than continuing to ignore them, or even worse, having them distract you. Just the very thought of cleaning up all the incompletes in your life might have you feeling a little overwhelmed. But don't worry, remember day 5 when you considered taking just 5% more responsibility. Today we will apply the same principle. What if you cleaned up just one incomplete in your life, and tomorrow you cleaned up just one more? By the end of 30 days, you have completed 30 incompletes, filling up both your physical and mental world from the noise those unfinished projects have created. What keeps you healthy and happy? To seek the answer for this question, Harvard University has done a study entitled Harvard Study of Adult Development. This is the longest study conducted for almost 75 years, started back then in 1938. For this study, they have selected two groups, Group A and Group B. The Group A consists of graduated students from Harvard, and Group B consists of underprivileged and poorest ones from the slums. This study was started with 724 men. The results are shocking. Few of them climbed the ladder to the highest with their upward journey, and some of them become alcoholic and started downward journey as well. According to that study, good relationships keeps us healthier and happier. I need to repeat this because in today's materialistic world where what we can say, अब जो भी materialistic world है इसमें हम ज़्यादातर जो materialistic चीज़ें हैं उसके पीछे दौड़ना शुरू कर रहे हैं. या तो according to a recent survey done by the California University, almost 80% of the youth wants to become rich. And out of that 80% 50% want to become famous. Okay, और ये सारी चीज़ें हम क्यों कर रहे हैं? In order to be उस ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा healthier, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा happier होने की कोशिश करने के लिए ये हम चीज़ें कर रहे हैं. Okay, and according to this survey which is done by the Harvard University, what it says, good relationships keeps us healthier and happier. Not your money, not your fame, only your relationships keeps you healthier and happier. To make our relationships more healthier and stronger, please do first, encourage them to try new things together. Second, appreciate them for what they are doing and they have done so far. Third, forgive them if they have committed any mistake. Fourth, listen to them. Don't just listen to them to give feedback. Listen to them completely and make them feel heard. And fifth, understand them proactively. Okay, in order to make your relationships healthier, what you need to do? First one, encourage them to try new things. Second one, appreciate them for what they are doing and they have done so far. Third, forgive them if they have committed any mistake. Fourth, listen to them first. Don't just listen to them to give feedback. Listen to them completely and make them feel heard. And fifth one, understand them proactively. This life is too short to hate someone. Spread the love and make this world a better place to live in. Happiness and peace are the pillars on which our mind works. Be the light brighter in the darkness. Keep this E plus R is equal to O simple formula in mind to change this world. The way you think is the way you feel. Feeling followed by the actions will lead you to the results you will get. So please remember, thoughts plus feelings plus actions is equal to results. And as already said at day 9, people forget what you said, people will also forget what you did, but people will never forget what you made them feel, how you made them feel. Day 11 exercises. Create a list of top 10 unfinished projects that keep you up at night. It may be a shelf you have never hung in your home that's sitting on the floor, or it may be a conversation you have been needing to have. It could be organizing papers at your job or importing your contacts into a new software program for your business. Choose 10 projects that bother you and you will feel relieved to finally have completed. Being true and honest to yourself, you have to write down these 10 things. Next question. How will I feel if I complete all 10 of these tasks in the next 30 days? Decide on one incomplete task that you will complete today. Today I will dash dash dash. Here you need to write down the task you are going to complete. Now get it done. Once you have finished your first incomplete, notice how you feel. Has the weight been lifted? Are you feeling more free? Do you feel a sense of accomplishment? Remember these feelings as you continue to check items off your list. Let us get ahead with chapter number 12. Ignorance is not bliss. Most people are surprised to hear that they are usually notified in advance about the negative events that occur in their lives, like the alerts in the old Shaktiman television serial. You receive advance warnings in the form of telltale signs, comments from others, gut instincts, your intuitions that warns you of impending doom and give you time to prevent something bad from happening. You have time to change your response R in the E plus R is equal to O equation. You can act as successful people do, facing facts squarely, doing the uncomfortable and taking steps to change the outcome. Successful people don't wait for the bad things to occur. They take responsibility immediately. They respond in time and they prevent things from going too far. Once you begin responding decisively to signals and events as they occur, life becomes much easier. The feelings of hopelessness and lack of control go away. You start seeing two kinds of improved outcomes, both internal and external. Old internal dialogues like I feel like a victim, I feel used, only bad things happen to me are transformed into I feel better, I am in control, I can make things happen. External outcomes like nobody comes to our store, we missed our quarterly goals, people are complaining the new product doesn't work, become outcomes like I have more money in the bank, I lead the division in sales, our product is flying off the shelves. Eventually, as you respond gradually to these alerts, you begin to see events without needing these advance warnings. You begin to anticipate problems. And with this new awareness, you show up as mature in your thinking. Finally, you can accept the fact that your responses and your responses alone created the outcomes you are experiencing right now. You took the actions, you thought the thoughts, you created the feelings, and you made the choices that got you to where you are right now. With the exception of a severe illness, 95% of which scientists now knows are caused by poor lifestyle habits and unregulated stress, virtually everything happening in our lives is created by us only. You are the one who ate the food. You are the one who stayed in that job that you hate. You are the one who married him. You are the one who wanted kids. You are the one who abandoned your dream. You are the one who ignored your intuition. You are the one who decided to go it alone. You are the one who decided you were damaged goods. You are the one who trusted him. And come to think of it, you are the one who said yes to the dogs too. It was you and you alone who allowed all this to happen this way. Day 12 exercises. Examine each area of your life and determine if there is a problem that you are ignoring or creating. What are you pretending not to know? Your health. Example 1. My cholesterol is high. I am pretending not to know I am at risk for cardiovascular disease. Example 2. Yeah, I drink several nights a week. I am pretending not to know that I am likely alcohol dependent. Your money. Example 1. My credit card debt is insupportable. I am pretending not to know that I am at risk of bankruptcy. Example 2. I just turned 50. I am pretending not to know that I am financially unprepared for the retirement. Your family. My teenager is a distant and moody. I am pretending not to know that he might be using drugs. Example 2. My mom's health has a decline. I am pretending not to know she needs expensive home care. Your relationships. My husband gets calls at odd hours. I am pretending not to know he might be having an affair. Example 2. My girlfriend trash talks on Facebook. I am pretending not to know she is immature. Your career. I am always missing deadlines. I am pretending not to know that I am at risk of losing this client. Example 2. There are rumors at the office. I am pretending not to know they are closing our department soon. Your lifestyle. My friend don't call. I am pretending not to know my work schedule is alienating them. Example 2. I got another late notice. I am pretending not to know that I am disorganized and chaotic. Other areas of life. Example 1. I got passed over for that role. I am pretending not to know that my skills need upgrading. Example 2. The taxes here have skyrocketed. I am pretending not to know that I can't afford to retire here. Let us get ahead with the second last chapter, that is chapter number 13. Create it. It only takes a minute to tell a loved one you adore them. It only takes a minute to run towards a fear. It only takes a minute to set a big goal. It only takes a minute to drink a glass of water. It only takes a minute to read a great idea. It only takes a minute to write a most beautiful thank you note you have ever sent to your parents, teammates, or a customer or a high school teacher who blessed your life. It only takes a minute to smile. It only takes a minute to connect to a friend or a co-worker. It only takes a minute to help a human being in need. It only takes a minute to raise your standard to the world class. It only takes a minute to go the extra mile at work and wow a customer. It only takes a minute to reflect on what you can do today to be better than you were yesterday. It only takes a minute to embrace the change. It only takes a minute to make a new choice that will lead to your best life. Make the best of every minute. Each one of them makes up your life. You alone have the power to make something happen in your life, whether you actively create it or passively allow it to happen or continue. This goes for outcomes that are both good and bad. When you confront a guy in a bar who is twice your size and say to him, "You are ugly," then probably you could find yourself in the hospital with a broken jaw. It's easy to see you have intentionally created that outcome. But what about those outcomes that are most difficult to see? Let us say you work late every night. You come home tired and burnt out. You eat dinner in a stupor, then sit down to watch television. You are too tired and stressed out to do anything else like go for a walk and play with kids. This goes on for years. Your wife asks you to talk to her. Later you say, 3 years from now you come home to an empty house and find a note that she has left you and taken the kids. You created that one too. Of course, in this kind of situation, it is easy to gloss over and obvious with self-righteous arguments like, "I was working hard to make a better life for my family. I'm entitled to watch a ball game every now and then. I was a good provider, wasn't I?" Today is all about creating that outcomes you want before you went out. event occur. When we take the time to think about the outcomes we desire proactively before being faced with events, we set ourselves up for success in a big way. This is the power of visualization and creation. While we can't control all of the events that happen in our lives, by being proactive in visualizing our desired outcomes, we work with the universe to bring the events and responses in our lives that will eventually lead to our desired outcomes. Day 13 exercises. If you could proactively create the perfect outcome in each area of your life, what would it look like? Your health, being true and honest to yourself, you need to write down the answers. Your health, your money, your family, your relationships, your career, your lifestyle, and finally other areas of your life. Being true and honest to yourself, you need to write the answers to above questions. What will you do today to proactively work towards your desired outcome in one of these areas? Let us get ahead with the very last chapter of this very special book, which is entitled as How to Take Back Control of Your Life. Appreciate our efforts by subscribing to our channel, and please do share this important information through WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, in whichever the way which is possible for you with your friends. Let us get started with chapter number 14, Celebrate Plus Share Wins. Harvard Business Review has done a research study. For this, they have selected 26 project teams from 7 companies participated, comprising 238 individuals. This yielded nearly 12,000 daily entries. Naturally, every individual in their population experienced ups and downs. Their goal was to discover the states of inner work life and the workday events that correlated with the highest levels of creative output. People are more creative and productive when their inner work lives are positive. Once it was clear to them, they have started researching on what events could evoke positive emotions, motivations, and perceptions. Soon they had found the power of progress principle, which literally means celebrating our tiny wins can make us more positive and motivate us to make progress, and totally changes our perception towards life events. So celebrate the tiny wins at the end of every day. Focus on celebrating progress instead of perfection. This rewires your brain in a positive direction and helps you to release dopamine and serotonin, feel good hormones. How to celebrate the tiny wins? How are they? Here are the 2 ways. First one, the nightly 3 rituals. Form a habit to look back to your each and every day at the night before going to sleep, and keep the record or just think of the best 3 things that happened today. This will focus and direct your brain in the positive side, and we will start feeling grateful for each and everything that comes our way. We will start embracing them, and our responses to those events changes dramatically, and this will lead you to a purposeful and more meaningful life. Second way, keep a daily progress journal. I love journaling as it heightens awareness, it deepens your intentions, it boosts performance, it enhances your creativity. Every day you write about your progress and you know where you were yesterday. It gives you the areas in which you have to work and the areas which you are good at. You get to write where you are winning, and it will act as a fuel for your further journey. You start training your mind on your winnings and what's positive. Ultimately, it will lead your life to the next level. Add the following things to your daily to-do list. This list I have prepared especially for you, as it has helped me a lot to build my world-class personality along with my students. Still, I am learning to become better each day. This is the bonus for you for taking this 14-day challenge and complete as many things as possible from this list every day. 13 challenges for every day. First, champion a child. Second, encourage a co-worker. Third, read a great book. Fourth, do something that frightens you. Fifth, write a thank you note. Sixth, do something kind for a stranger. Seventh, wow a customer. 8, learn something new. 9, let's go of resentment. 10th, go better work, do better work. 11, be more passionate. 12, speak truthfully. And 13, stand for excellence. I will repeat these 13 challenges. First one, champion a child. Second, encourage a co-worker. Read a great book. Do something that frightens you. Write a thank you note. Do something kind for a stranger. Wow a customer. Learn something new. Let's go up a resentment. Do better work. Be more passionate. Speak truthfully. And finally, stand for excellence. Today is all about celebrating yourself. You made it through the entire 14 days, and today your response is to celebrate all you have accomplished. This is an important lesson in the E plus R is equal to O equation. How often have you done something incredible only to downplay your success? That is a response. Over the course of the last 2 weeks, you have made over your daily routines, relationships, and mindsets. You have completed lingering incomplete tasks. You have taken responsibility for past outcomes. You are a rock star now. So today I want you to look back at this challenge and look at all you have accomplished. Give yourself credit for taking back control of your life. It's no small task, and you should be proud of just how far you have come. Sure, there may have been days that you didn't complete all the homework or weren't engaged in the group, but what you have accomplished is more than most people do an entire month or even a year. Today is about focusing on your wins and choosing to respond to all that you have accomplished in the past 14 days with a celebration of your success. And last day exercises, being true and honest to yourself. You have to write the answers to these questions. What are you most proud to have accomplished during this challenge? In what ways has your mindset changed as a result of this challenge? Next, how have you grown over the past 14 days? And finally, what is one thing you will do today to celebrate you and all you have accomplished? Now get out there, celebrate, and share this equation with everyone you know. Finally, thank you so much for listening. अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो इसके अंदर जो भी लर्निंग है वो खुद के लाइफ में भी अप्लाई कीजिए और खुद के लाइफ में आगे बढ़ते रहिए. In order to encourage us, you can subscribe to our channel and share this video with as many people as you can. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for connecting with us. Appreciate our efforts by subscribing to our channel. Thank you.